Charity leaders are warning that several organisations might have to close because of funding cutbacks. They argue that making £5 billion worth of savings will impact on the most vulnerable. Ursula Errington reports.
Next one, I bet you can't remember where this one was. Where was it?
3-year-old Nevaeh has leukemia. She may need a bone marrow transplant. Because of her ethnicity, her chances of finding a match are 1 in 100,000. Her mother has turned to the African Caribbean Leukemia Trust, the ACLT, which gets into minority communities and gets potential donors to register. But perhaps not for long. Rising costs and falling donations mean the charity is facing closure by April.
If she relapses, there's no ifs, buts, she'll need a bone marrow transplant. If ACLT aren't here to help me find a matching bone marrow donor for Nevaeh, there's nobody else out there that can do that for me.
The ACLT isn't an isolated case. It's thought more than a third of charities that receive state funding are seeing demand for their services increase, yet government backing for them could be cut by £5 billion over the next 4 years. Which means some of these subsidised organisations will lose as much as half of their budget.
We face significant cuts in public spending, rising costs, a rising VAT, loss of gift aid, relief. A tax on bankers' bonuses would bring in immediately something like £3 billion. That would go a very long way to plugging that serious gap in our funding.
What galls charity leaders is that the cuts are coming under a Conservative-led government that put the concept of big society, with its crucial role for the voluntary sector, at the centre of their election campaign.
We're very overborrowed as a country. We can't go on paying £120 million of interest a day, and therefore unfortunately, the charitable sector can't be immune from the savings that have to be made, and in my conversations with them, they recognise that. The challenge for us, both working together, is to try and minimise, in the short term, the damage that could be done if these decisions are taken and handled badly.
So, to survive, charities increasingly turn to famous patrons, actors, singers, recognisable faces who can maximise fundraising.
I take it as a duty, really, to step forward and to help. If it means that by being there, people will pay attention, you know, get their attention, get them involved. If I can influence somebody in that way, then I've done a good thing.
Whether or not the cuts can be justified, the reality is most charities will increasingly rely on donations from people in the street. For the more niche causes, that will inevitably mean pretty quickly they'll be scraping the bottom of the collection bucket. Ursula Errington, Sky News.